Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew, where family is everything, Aunt.
Until it's not. Andrew and I had a little argument before we started, but we're back on
But we
track.
squashed our beef.
You know what? Also, he discovered why I would never be a good housewife. I'm far too emotional.
I actually think that's why she would be an amazing housewife.
I would be so good as a housewife.
So good, it's bad.
I mean, and you know who's a horrible housewife as far as I'm concerned? Alexis Bellino.
That's why she's a friend.
Oh my God. She's not a friend. She's an actual housewife, isn't she, this year?
No.
Oh, she's not. I didn't notice that she
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
she's
have
not
an orange.
She doesn't have a tagline, nothing.
Oh.
So can you give our listeners well, before we start, like, subscribe, follow, comment, everything in between on
comments.
Instagram and YouTube. Can you tell us about the timeline here? Do you have any intel on this? Because it's hard to like judge. I think that the impact of these scenes, especially the carryover scene at the lunch, when did this all happen in regards to the DUI and the breakup and all that?
Okay, I have no idea when they filmed this scene. However, Shannon and John were arguing.
And they were broken up at the reunion already last season. Yes.
Okay, but Shannon didn't have her DUI already, did she?
No, then she went
after.
to his house because they were still talking.
Right. They were still right.
10 days later, right? They said,
and then she said that 10 days after, he called and told her, it's done. It's over. You've ruined my life. I don't want anything to ever do with you again. Fini, we're done. Okay. And then somewhere after that, he met Alexis. And then somewhere after that, she got promised.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that.
Promised.
Okay,
so
I think that was
about
like
3 to 4 months, maybe?
End of summer. And then, because then this is all being filmed and it's like New Year parties. So it must be like 4 months or so.
Yeah. So I think this is still pretty fresh.
It is fresh. Okay. It's fresh.
It is pretty fresh. And I want to tell you, I feel like these women went into the season saying, oh, Shannon, she had a DUI. So she's going to be the one we hate this year because they're coming off of Scandival. Every show in Bravo is being affected by Scandival, is what I thought. I agree. They're thinking, oh, their season went into, because remember, they're filming this while it's on and all that stuff is happening. So we're going to have an enemy. So it's going to be Shannon. Let's decide it's Shannon. She hasn't had a bad year. She's crazy all the time. Let's go with Shannon. I think some of all this weird hate towards Shannon is because of Scandival. But what they don't realize is Shannon's coming off very sympathetic, where Tom didn't.
Yeah.
And so it's making them look bad.
But it's not about the lawsuit. And that's the thing I think Shannon went
it is. I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what anybody says. You come after me, you cost me $300,000. I'm going to hate you from now to eternity. There's no coming back from that unless you give me $300,001 back.
No, but what I'm saying is that like the lawsuit could have been addressed at any point. They could have tried to get her back on the show. There's a reason why she's on the show. It's because of Johnny J.
Oh, yeah. No, totally.
Yeah. So I think Alexis is like, Shannon, yes, whatever. Talk about the lawsuit. You want to have a lunch about the lawsuit? Fine. But the reason why you and I have beef right now is Johnny J. And that's why I think Alexis is like, no, let's get to the point. I'm dating your ex-boyfriend, not about the lawsuit.
Yeah, I get that. But I don't think the $300,000 helps.
Well, didn't he do Tamara $300,000 and Shannon $200,000?
No, Tamara cost her $500,000.
Oh, $500,000.
Which is even crazier to me why Tamara is happy with her, because Tamara's got a lot less money than Shannon does. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. But again, I think that Tamara is kind of taking Alexis's side, because she's thinking, oh, Shannon just went into the flower pot and crashed and she had a DUI. And so people are going to hate her this year because people hate DUIs.
Yes, I think though, but if you look
at the text, some of Shannon's, the text is terrible. No, the text is terrible.
Which one? Shannon and Tamara?
I thought the whole Instagram and liking Alexis's pictures were horrible by Shannon. And I think by Tamara. And again, I think Tamara did it because she's thinking that everybody's going to hate Shannon.
Did you read the text? Because I put pause to read them.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't do that.
So Tamara's text to Shannon was very nice.
Okay.
And then they don't have timestamps, so you don't know. But then Shannon goes after her for just liking a picture of Alexis. And if you read Tamara's text, it says, grow up. Liking a photo of someone has nothing to do with where I stand around her relationship. If it was her and John, it would be a different story. I
All
agree.
right, but they didn't show that.
No, well, it said it in the text. It was just weird
Yeah,
that they're
but why
going
do
back and
people,
forth.
okay, this is what I don't understand. Why do people gotta like things
I
when
don't
they
notice when I
know?
go through my Instagram and I just double click.
So I believe though that Tamara had malfeasance when she liked it. I
We also
do.
don't know when that was. That's the
I
thing that
know.
bothers me.
Yeah, well,
It's like,
you know,
was that before um she knew about, like, I just think it's so wild. And then I have to say, this is just going the random thoughts about the lunch. Gina, Gina's lucky that her naivete of not doing a credit check on anyone when you're in a new job and industry like that, she's lucky that it's one of her cast members and that she can talk about it on the show so that it kind of looks isolated and not like she would just be a naive realtor and just because she knows someone, she wouldn't do a credit check.
right, but wasn't on the hook for the money.
No, like
And
we have
so,
more
but
thoughts
his
on
is
that
where,
too.
okay, no, but this is where it cost Gina money because Gina signed her for a year. And as a realtor, if you sign somebody's, you're the realtor and you sign not you sign the lease, but you bring it, she was going to get a percentage of that.
Oh
So it
yeah.
cost her money in that she lost her commission, but it wasn't money she'd received yet, anyways.
I don't know though. You usually just make like 1 month's rent or whatever if you're a realtor. And
Not
it's
even
something
that much. You make a percentage of it.
I
You
know,
don't
but
make
at the
it.
end of like the 12 months, it's usually like on rentals, they like that's on a sales, you make a percentage. On rentals, the money's lower, even in Orange County. Like
No, I
it's
know
something.
it's not a lot of money. So I'm saying is
I don't know if
it
she'd
didn't,
take a percentage. She probably just helped
she
her
made it
out.
sound like she cost her
No, no,
$50,000.
that's a different thing. That's something I want to
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Gina, you had a listing where you would have made a $50,000 commission if you had sold the house.
Right.
You're telling me that you're going to blame Jennifer for
Because
not
it's good
finding a
TV.
buyer because
Right.
you couldn't call one of your realtor connections to see if they maybe have a potential cash buyer. Yes, I understand that Gina's situation limited the net that you could cast to see if there was
Right.
a potential buyer. But don't
Right.
you dare try to put it all on Jennifer. You still don't even know if anyone would have wanted to buy the house, if that
Right.
realtor would have had a client for you.
Of
Now, you
course.
could
None of
say it
that.
could have impacted your process, but to keep saying she cost you money is just wild.
Right.
And that's just for me is crazy. Now, the other thing Shannon said at the
And
lunch,
you know what? I just want to interject one
yeah,
thing. If there's any realtors, you tell us what you think.
yes,
I
please,
want to know that because I'm not into real estate,
and
though I
because
have
Ryan
some.
Serhant was not as real as he could have been on Watch What Happens Live.
I agree.
My girlfriend, the girlfriend in question, from
Yeah.
our little
Okay.
spat,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she opened a Serhant in South Florida, her and her
Right.
husband. They
Yeah.
opened one of his brokerages in
Right.
West Palm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask her what she thinks and I'll have her comment. I want to know what she really thinks about what a realtor would do in this situation if it was a friend. Because another note I meant was,
Well,
I
they're
wrote,
not real friends. None of these people are
no.
real friends. Yeah.
So to finish up the lunch, I do want to say,
All right. Let's
Alexis,
finish with the lunch.
Shannon was not telling you to quiet down. Now, I have a partner in my life who's loud in settings. My aunt knows this. I
Okay.
shush him often.
Yes. Right.
He doesn't get mad because he knows he's loud. Now, there's a difference between Shannon being a little bit, say, I don't know, 10 feet away from Alexis, bitching about Shannon, who's
Yes.
10 feet away, and
Right.
talking about her boyfriend, who's Shannon's
Right.
ex. That's why Shannon said quiet down, not because she gave a shit how loud Alexis was. It was because Shannon didn't want to hear Alexis
Hear it.
talking. And
Right.
then Alexis, to try to make it seem like
Like
she's comparing
she's been
to
shushed.
Jim Bellino, who
Yeah.
said when we got married, like we
Yeah.
joined at the flesh and wives
Yes.
stay home, which is
Yeah.
just like so ridiculous.
Right. It was a weird flashback, actually, I
It
thought.
was.
Out of
And the
all the
fact that,
Gimbalino crap that's out there.
and when you really think, like, let me tell you, no opinion, we don't need to hear anyone's opinions on his actual comment. But all I'll say is this: If anyone doesn't think the world's changing in a scary way, that would never have made, that would have been like cut on the spot if it happened today. Like that would never have made the production. It would have been horrible. He would have been canceled. So it would have been horrible. And
Yeah,
yet,
but that was probably what, 10 years ago?
no, I know. I'm saying it's scary how quickly the world changes. That like,
Well, not only that, but original OC is a pocket of conservative values.
and Real Housewives,
I
except
mean, but
Vicky, except Vicky. That was the only one that worked.
well, that's true. But that whole pocket, because remember, Laurie Peterson was always
Oh yeah.
going to the Republican things with the new guy who she's still with. I can't think of his name. Josh's. I remember Josh. God rest Josh's soul.
Oh,
They should mention that Josh died.
they did.
Anyways, on this show,
They did like when he died.
yeah, poor Josh. It makes
They
me
talked about
sad.
it. Gina was funny at the lunch. I don't understand why everything is not bread. That was, I mean, they kind of made it seem like that was Heather's lunch was a spoon.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, it looked crappy to me.
It did.
You know what? I
knew
don't
you were
like
gonna
a
say that.
party. I don't like a party where you spent more on decorations than food.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want you to spend a lot more money on food than flowers because
Emily
I
is
can't
so
eat the flowers at the
Em-
end of it.
Oh
And
yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
surprised Emily didn't say something. The Ozempic has definitely affected her brain cells because normally she'd be like, "Where's the food?"
I know.
But she's not anymore. She's not complaining about the fact
Emily
there's
is
really
so
no
shady
food.
about Jennifer's debt. The
Well,
car. If
take a
Emily brought
picture
up
of
the
the car
car
'cause
that's
it's
about to be repoed
disappearing.
one more time, she
Yeah,
just
but
can't stay in the car.
yeah, but we didn't talk about Shannon leaving the room. Now, I think Shannon is maintaining herself quite well, considering that she has to put up with Jesus jugs. I mean, it's obvious
Oh, I
that
agree.
like I said again, everybody's kind of like letting Shannon be attacked because I think they're all letting Shannon be attacked by Alexis simply because they think that Shannon's going to have a bad year and there's not going to be sympathy for her on this show. When in fact, she's coming off very sympathetic because, like I said last week, she got no guy. She doesn't have a house. She's renting now. When we first saw her, she had a 10 years ago, a $12 million home. Now she's got a rental by herself. Her kids are gone. Her husband's gone. She's
Well,
got Archie. I mean, she's sympathetic to me because she's always been a little bit, woo.
I have to say, I'm not mad at Tamara yet. She's being Tamara.
She is being Tamara.
And she's not going overboard. She's just being Tamara. I think she genuinely did go to Shannon in the hallway because anyone that watched it could tell like it was inappropriate. It was inappropriate. The comments that were made. I mean, let's just roll them out.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
you want to
stop
know
bang-
what
The producers got involved in this very much too. Those
Probably.
questions that were pulled
Yeah.
out of the question container.
Oh, yeah.
They
That was
wanted
the only
Alexis to say
question in there
that.
at the time.
And then Tamara goes, maybe stop banging her ex, like
Yeah.
loud for everyone to see. And then
Right.
I kind of like this new girl, Katie, what we've
Oh,
seen of her. She's
yeah.
fun. She says shit. She goes, she
Yeah.
said what everyone was thinking. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's great. And
Yeah.
then they start talking about the ring because that jewelry question, I think, was planted so that they could then bring up the ring.
Her little promise ring. Yeah.
And then with the D versus the
day.
and then Katie goes, maybe I guess that's what she's getting. The D.
Is that. Yeah. Again,
love that.
I mean, she was a little shady too. She's got her own little past, little Katie.
I love her. She's opened up. She's
she got
fun.
20-year-old. She's 19.
About
She's
the lunch,
39. The whole
Two
bit.
things can be true.
At the same time, often.
Yes. Shannon, in my opinion, she's been on TV for a number of years. She's gotten wasted on TV a number of times. She's gotten divorced. She's
More
had a
than
number of
once.
problems.
Yeah.
And then you get mad at your ex-boyfriend. You drive over to his house with your dog.
Yeah.
And then you drive into someone else's front door with your dog.
Yeah, I know.
Personally, if I was Shannon,
Yes.
whether it was the right thing to do or just to save face, I would not be drinking this season.
Oh, she should not. But she
also should not be sitting at a lunch where all these women are literally pouring the containers of iodized salt all over her, like around her, like they do in Hocus Pocus to keep the witches away. It's like on the wounds.
Yeah. You want to know what my favorite part of the luncheon was?
What?
When Shannon's girlfriend put her lipstick on her.
I I have to say
I
she
thought
looks
that
like
was so
Donatella
funny.
Versace.
I thought that was the funniest thing. She just stood there and she fixed her lips. I thought that was so hysterical. I didn't like the scene with Tamara. I didn't think it looked good, but I've decided this year I'm full on Shannon Couture. And I think anybody coming after her is horrible. So I don't know what it says about me. Now, she did say she got the ring after 2 months, and because I wrote that down, and she's had the ring for a while. So I'm going to guess that this is about 4 to 6 months after this relationship started.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a good timeline.
I'm going to say approximately 4 months, which means at 4 months after a relationship ends, you're still pretty bitter.
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot of bitterness in Shannon.
Oh, of
And
course.
Alexis Bellino is so desperate to be holding the orange that she's coming on too strong too. Like, if you just started dating a guy, why do you have to go after them? Like, isn't it enough that you're with the guy? Like, just let that sit.
I also think there's something to be said. We keep saying about the friend groups, and everyone's like, oh, they're not really friends, or I don't know her that well. Like, you're all part of a club. It's called the Real Housewives. There's
Wives.
about 100 of you across the country, world,
Yeah.
right? With Dubai.
Yeah. At
That
least.
in and of
Yeah.
itself, stay away from it's like stay out of the friend group, but also how about like it's like dating another coworker. It's like, can't you go find someone else? Like if you broke up
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
that like
Totally.
you all work
Yeah. I
together, like
totally
it's
agree.
inappropriate.
Uh,
And I have to say, bravo. It really was only other one big thing that happened in this, and it's Jennifer and Gina. And like
yeah, that was good
the
too.
tee up for it is that Bravo really is. I mean, I think we can all see the droppings. Bravo is gonna really blow the Ryan, Shanae Otani game, and it's massive. And they are so shady by putting Jennifer trying to explain what Ryan does for work
and
in the
and
show,
Shannon
which she
and
probably did
Shannon's just
before.
looking like, you could see Shannon had glasses on and you could still see her eyes go,
I wouldn't
okay.
do this. Like, but that was before it came out too.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then they could have easily omitted it. They could have kept it off the show. And Bravo's like, nope,
No,
I'm at
no,
Kid in the
no,
Candy
no.
Store
Are you
here.
kidding? And I want to say one more thing, since we're still talking about Alexis Bellino and the money and everything. Let's not forget. Now, I think Heather Dubrow is far too understanding of Alexis, considering, if you remember, about 5 or 6 years ago, Heather came at one of the new housewives when it came out that she had sued Terry for malpractice because her face didn't come out right. And then it came out that the new housewife was in her house, and then it dawned on her that you were one of the women who sued Terry. Whoa, that was the end of it. Get out of my house. How dare you come in my house, and you've sued my husband. Goodbye. And so to me, Heather came off looking a little bit hypocritical, considering she didn't understand
Yeah, but if you
that.
remember this lawsuit, Shannon and Tamara talked a lot of shit.
Okay, but so what about the new housewife that sued Terry that the face didn't come out
But
and
that
she
was
got
his
upset
job.
about it? Well, I don't care if it's your job or not your job. It still costs you money.
Yeah, but isn't plastic surgery more of a matter of opinion if it comes out good or not?
All I'm saying is Heather should be more understanding that
Yeah,
Shannon was just dragged through an unnecessary lawsuit.
totally. Totally.
Okay, that's all I'm saying, because Heather is forgetting that Dubrow was sued.
Yeah, no, I agree with
And
that.
she kicked the woman out of the house. I'm just saying that
I
happened a
hear
couple of
you.
years ago.
I hear you.
And I want to tell you, all these housewives and all these people need to stop completely veneering every tooth in their mouth.
It's all on Bravo. It's everything on Bravo. It's not just even the Housewives. The other shows too, the younger shows, like they're all getting new
It's all
teeth.
too much. They're all getting new teeth, and like Fuda, some of you just look ridiculous. You're getting
Totally.
chiclets, and I just
Totally.
just go with your own teeth until you need actual help.
I liked how Katie said she would drive to the mailbox if she could.
I mean, she's not moving, but she was into golf,
Yeah, no. I just thought it was great that
so
I
that
saw.
means she stops.
Yeah, no, that or she
She
just
has
has
to,
the
because
fat
she's
metabolism. I do too,
not.
fast
No, no.
metabolism. I don't
You
work
think
out.
so? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something else. I think Jen, they're really focusing on Jen. And I'm sympathetic to Jen in one instance. And hear me out. Jen is a beautiful girl. She
Okay.
has always been a beautiful girl. She was raised in a wealthy family. She married a guy with money. Jen doesn't know how to be poor. She's never known poverty. She's never known not wanting for money. There's always been a guy that was paying the bills. I'm sure she went from daddy paying the bills to her husband paying the bills. And all of a sudden, Jen is like a fish out of water. She has no clue how to take care of herself.
So is that why you're saying Tamara's example of how Tamara was able to like hustle is kind of off put, and the same with Gina, because Gina worked, didn't come from money like that. New Yorker,
Yeah,
Tamara
like
worked,
Tamara was,
mother
I
was
mean,
single.
Tamara
Yeah.
was living, in a trailer, she'll tell you. And so she had a different,
They have upbringing.
no, just a different life experience. I do not believe that Jen has ever had to pay her own bills her whole life. I think she went from daddy still paying the bills at 47. So that's nothing odd for him. He's become accustomed to it. And then she had a husband who did really well, that was supposed to be paying her rent every month and giving her all this money. And he was like, no, let's see how you go. She doesn't know how to fend for herself. She kind of reminds me of like when they take an animal in captivity, right? That's been raised in captivity, and everybody complains about the animal, and then they send them out into the wilderness and the thing dies because it has no clue. And everybody thought they were being nice to this animal by sending it back out of captivity, but the animal has no idea how to take care of itself, and then it dies. And that's what's happening to Jen. She has no idea, and she's getting to that age. Women don't want to admit it, but as you slide into your late 40s, early 50s, you start to become invisible. And it's just the way it is. And so she's feeling very vulnerable.
What
I
happened with
get it.
you?
I'm totally invisible. I can go someplace nobody even looks, nobody even acknowledges I'm there.
I've only seen that once last Saturday.
What, that nobody knew I was there?
I couldn't find you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's because I was incognito.
I
What
know.
he doesn't know is we were meeting somewhere and I had my hair in a ponytail, no makeup, and a
A hat
baseball
on.
cap.
It was like really scary. I could not find her. And then when I saw her, I even was like, oh my God. It doesn't
He
look like
asked
you.
me if I was going camping.
Yeah.
I know you don't
What
see
I
that
didn't
look
like
on me
about
a lot.
Tamara's
That's true.
example about Simon and how she went to work was also, Tamara, like, give Jennifer a break. You were 3 seasons onto this show. This was at the beginning of Housewives. Appearances were a thing. The money was increasing. You were a 3-year housewife. She's on her 2nd season. Like, she'll be okay.
Well,
But
not only that, if you remember Tamara's first or second season, I forget which one, her birthday party was on a boat. Simon was giving her a big Rolex watch that was like 40 grand with diamonds, and he gave her something else crazy. So, but she had struggled, Tamara.
yeah,
And
no.
she didn't come up with money, and she struggled, and then she had money, and then she was off, and she knew how to hustle. I don't think this Jen's never been poor. She's never had to work. She's never had to struggle.
Totally.
And all of a sudden she finds herself with 3 kids, she's treading water and she's ready to drown because she has no idea how to swim.
Her adopted son grew up so fast in a year.
Yeah, and he's fresh. And you know what? If he hung up, his head would be, I don't know where it
She
would
said,
be.
come home now. Who are you with? And he said, I'm by myself. And then she said, come home now. And then he
And
hung
hung
up
up.
listening to her. And then she goes, he hung up on me. Well, you told him to come home now. What do you want him to do? Stay on the phone while he's driving a dirt bike?
Anyways, what would have happened to you if you hung up with your mother?
If she said, come home now, and then I came home right away, and she said, why'd you hang up on me? I'd say, you told me to come home. I didn't want to talk and drive at the same time.
Okay. Well, he didn't. He's 10.
If he hung up and then didn't come home, that's a different ballgame.
Then he would be just
I see the little boy's point.
You see
I've
the little boy's
Shannon
point. All right.
Shannon and Heather's with the fire trucks and the police. That was very funny.
Yeah, it
Very
was.
much. And they said you're going to catch on fire.
And you want to know what else I found interesting about that scene? It was very light when
I
they
said
arrived.
That.
And
Heather
it was
is more chill this season.
Yeah, but it was very light out. It was daytime.
Oh.
And then when they were doing their big scene, it was pitch dark out.
That's because they didn't talk about anything, and the producers had to come in 3 times and say, all right, now talk about this. We need to get what we need to get. And I said,
how long were they here? I'm thinking this was literally, what, 3 minutes, this scene? And it must have taken 5 hours to do this scene because it went from one to the other in no time at all.
How tall are you? because I'm almost 5'8". What does that mean? 5'7"? I love that.
I thought that was shady. I think Gina is a little shady this year.
She is. Well, listen, we'll get there because that's how I want to finish. Emily,
Okay.
though, again, in that scene brings up the car. Emily is a hard on for this car payment that Jennifer has. She really, really wants to focus on the car payment when everyone else wants to focus on the rent.
Yeah, true. And you know what else? Ryan has a big house.
But we don't know how Ryan makes money.
Well, we don't at this point, but he has a big house. Why wouldn't you move in?
I think that for her, it was one of those things where I think that she has good values from her parents. You can tell that when you saw her parents. And
Right.
I think that what she was trying to do in that moment is, well, first and foremost, there might have been something going on with her divorce that limited her, just like how we haven't seen like
Yeah.
Lala's child on the show because of Randall, things like that, that maybe
Well,
the ex
he is
didn't want
letting
her to
her kids be
Ryan
on TV.
move in
Yeah.
with Ryan.
Yeah.
But I will say that um what I found, the house is beautiful. Gina, though, the minute Gina got to that cafe, Gina is focused. Gina didn't even wait to order the coffee together because she didn't want to pay
Oh,
for her coffee.
it was so obvious. She was like, yeah, because normally you wait for someone. And Jen knew at that moment, oh, okay, she already did it. And I felt bad for the poor waitress who had to deliver the coffee in the middle of it.
I
She
mean,
was
yeah,
just
but
kind of
also it's
scurrying
like
off.
most of those things I think they can get reimbursed for, like not the big parties that Heather does, but when they go eat, when they're filming, when they get a coffee, they submit receipts. So Gina wouldn't even wait to put it on one card to get it
No,
reimbursed.
she wasn't
She didn't
paying
even
for
want to
that
do that.
$7 latte. No, not
Yeah.
at all.
The
And
professional glam though was great that Gina put those two and two together because I don't know if I would have thought about it on the spot.
yeah, but I do believe what Jen said was correct also.
Which
And
part?
that, oh, just because you were a mess, and then they showed pictures of Gina did have a bad time. She did. She was sort of messy
Oh
for
yeah,
a year or so there. She was messy. She's got her act together now, Gina, but she was messy. And Jen was like, oh, you're just jealous because I'm not a mess. Just because my life's a mess doesn't mean I have to be a mess. It sort of reminds me of, I'll tell you a little life story, not that anybody cares, but my grandmother was a heavy woman, but she was always dressed to perfection, as
okay.
classy and as stylish and as put together as you could be. And I always thought with anybody, it's not the weight, like with Emily on the show. She was heavier. And even when Shannon's been heavier, you just don't all of a sudden, dress sloppy. Like,
Oh
put a
yeah, I
little effort
agree.
into it. So it's kind of like Jen is saying, yeah, my life may be a mess, but that doesn't mean I have to project I'm a mess to the world.
Totally.
So it's like, if you're heavy, don't, just wear tense
However, she's
because you're
walking
not
around telling
hiding it.
everyone she got evicted.
Well, she did get evicted. She wants them to know, but she is driving up in a Range Rover.
Well, that's about to be repoed.
Well, because Ryan's going to take care of that bill too.
See, I
Because
want to know why
as we
Ryan,
know, Ryan's got a lot of cash going
a
around,
lot of cash flow.
a lot of
Um,
cash flow.
Why didn't Jennifer call Gina though? Like when all this started, like, do you not think that you should call your cast member, aka your colleague, because that's what they are at the end of the day, they're coworkers, to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, just want to let you know before I post on Instagram that I'm moving, the house you got me into, like you're gonna, because like she's gonna find out about it. What do you not think the realtor's gonna find out?" So I actually put it on Jen for just not squashing it because she could have played the victim, called Gina and said, "I'm so sorry. I overestimated what I could afford. I don't know what to do. I have to move out. I know how bad this is for you and your reputation, but I wanted to call you first." And if she had done that, Gina wouldn't have a leg to stand on because then if she brought it up, it would kind of be like the whole Danielle on Jersey when Danielle brought up the Melissa Gorga with the kiss and all that.
Right.
When it was discussed off camera, Joe already knew about it, all that. And then it would have looked kind of desperate the way Jen and Teresa kind of looked for putting Danielle up to it when it
Yeah.
was already discussed. And I just
I
think
get
that
that.
Jennifer didn't help herself there.
Right. But what surprises me is that Jennifer moved out after 4 months. Because I mean, how do you get an eviction notice after 4 months?
I don't
That's
know.
what's amazing to me because you always gave a first and last month. Okay, right? That people
Yeah.
give like a security deposit. But at 4 months, so she obviously never paid anything. She maybe
Or
paid the first and last month, and that was it. Because for after 4 months to get an eviction notice is weird. And then who leaves these days? People stay for a year and they make you
What do
go
you
to
think her
court.
rent is?
Oh, we talked about the 24 grand, but
It's
who
not. No,
knows?
that's what was owed. So I have a
Okay, so
feeling that
maybe it's 10,000 a month. It's expensive
12
out
even
there.
maybe.
Well, she owed 24. Either
Someone in my family pays around 6, and I know the size of their house.
okay, so you're saying that 12 is for a big house in Southern California for 4 or 5 kids is not a lot.
Yeah, rent is insane in California.
Yeah, so maybe her rent was, and she gave first and last month, maybe. So maybe she gave like 25,000 and then she owed like 25,000 and she was there for 4 months, but I don't know
Yeah.
her financials. But it still seems crazy to me that somebody would leave, because people don't leave when they get an eviction notice. They stay there and they make you get them evicted, like with
It
a
also
constable.
makes me worried about like what is her divorce looking like, and like where is her husband's
Oh,
money going and all that. It must be bad, because if a lot of people in those situations, they find a way to like work a deal with the realtor to be like, I can't pay right now, but like the money's coming from the divorce, or like he's gonna have to pay for it or something. And I guess I'm just wondering how is it legal for her ex-husband to not have to give some money knowing there's kids involved? Like, and that's the other part of this too, which we don't know. Has he been giving her money and she's been using it on other things? Like
maybe
that's
Glam. Maybe
yeah.
she's been using her child support on
I mean, we
Glam.
saw
But
all
who's
these
to say he's not
housewives.
behind on child support? He could be behind on that
He
too.
could be. So it's more just ideas, because let me tell you, this isn't the first time we've seen a housewife live above her means.
No.
So
Let's see. That's a whole list. You know
yeah,
who else is something no different? Nah, she doesn't remind me of her either. I'm trying to think of who Jen is similar to. I'm trying to
Gina.
Gina. Oh, maybe that's why Gina's so triggered by it.
I think
Because I'm
Gina's
looking
triggered
back at
by
some
it.
of the other housewives that found themselves in this position, and I don't know if there's anybody else quite in Gina's position. I'm sorry, Jen's position.
All I know is that it woke Gina up. She is alive.
Oh,
She is
I would
the
have stayed there and fought a little bit
The
though.
New York part of her Gina is real good. I think it's real fun. I love watching her come out.
Yeah.
I think it suits her well. Gina's normally not this vocal. She's not this aggressive. She's not this loud. And I think it's fabulous.
And tell me, do you think this is good that Bravo is playing Housewife Jersey versus Housewife OC right now? Because they're very different vibes.
Well, we learned in the comments, I don't know if you saw on our Jersey video the other day,
Yeah,
that this is a short season. It's only 12 episodes. There's only 2 left.
I told you it was coming to a
No,
close. I
you
knew
thought that
that.
we were more episodes in and there were 16.
And, we'll talk about it on Jersey, but they did film a
Oh,
reunion.
a viewing party at Rails
Yeah.
in separate
Yeah.
rooms with Dolores as the moderator. It's pathetic.
I mean, but they did
Andy
do
didn't even want to
something.
go across the river to go to Rails.
I know. And they don't, we'll talk about it when we do Jersey this week too. They don't see the last episode until they see it, like Vanderpump, supposedly. It's going to be similar to like they don't expose it to them until it's there.
What would you think if I wanted to get married at the Brownstone?
I heard it's not that great.
I think I might
want
do
to check it out
Destination.
I think I'm going to check it out on, do they still do weddings there?
I
It
don't
must
know.
be
All I know is
so
that I have a couple
dated.
of finalists right now. And so if you have any other ideas for my wedding, which could happen in about 25 years, maybe
The Brownstone, New
2010, we don't
Jersey.
know.
You want to know what's funny? Is that the Brownstone in New Jersey does immediately come up. It's in Paterson. It
Mhm.
has a 4.3 rating. There's 21,000 reviews though.
Yeah, but a lot of those are probably fake too, or like from
Well,
the
I'm just
show, the
saying,
fans of the show.
I'm just saying, no. I would just say though, to get all of those reviews, I mean, come on. I'm sorry, it wasn't 21. It's 2.1 thousand
Well, I have a couple
reviews.
other finalists for wedding destinations. It's either Trixie Motel,
Oh, that
or
would be
maybe
more.
the Benton Performing Arts
I
Center with
like
the destination with the hotel being the Benton
no, the
Motel.
Benton Hotel I think is better than the Trixie. But you would probably appeal
Well, it
to
depends if we
that
decide we
more.
want to be in the Midwest or if we want to be more in the heat of Arizona or wherever Vegas is for Trixie. But guess what? As we wrap up this episode,
Oh,
Salt
who's your
Lake's
mess?
Salt Lake's trailer comes out next week.
Oh, Salt Lake. I want to tell you who was on that I saw a snippet with Jeff Lewis, and he said that Salt Lake was his favorite.
Oh yeah, they're the best right now.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, OC is so chill. They are chill. They're outside. There's a beach. Blah blah blah. Jersey is like full throttle Northeast energy, anxiety all the time. Kind of like what we live in, don't you think? A little bit.
A little bit.
Like there's always traffic. There's always people where
There
we
is.
are. There's always
Um,
things. There's always energy. There's a bunch of stuff coming at you. Where OC is just like, can you move the heater a little bit closer? Cold.
my mess is the production team because
Oh,
they really put these women at a disadvantage at that lunch and made them look really mean to Shannon, and I don't like it. And I really think it was driven by production because
okay.
you're telling me with how many 200 questions floating around in a money jar that the 2 questions that come out are Alexis Bellino, what are your goals for this year? And Heather Jabril, your favorite piece of jewelry? Come on, get out of town. They did this to try to make people look bad. But my real mess in society is
Is
Jennifer Aiden on Watch What Happens Live blowing up the spot of the relationship with bloggers. And now Andy's mad at all the women in Jersey because they tell the bloggers what's going to happen on the show before it comes out. And that's why the bloggers know. And that's why they write their reviews when they do. And
oh
Teresa just had screenshots come out with a blogger.
yeah, we'll
And
have to
her
talk about
attorney,
that in
James Lennon.
Jersey. We're gonna have to talk about that on Jersey because I'm not up to snuff on the screenshots. Where do I find them? Where do I find them? Are
I
they
saw
on
it online.
Instagram or is it on like
I think
Twitter?
it's on all of them, probably. Most people
Oh, okay.
repurpose
You know what
their
I'll be doing
content.
this afternoon.
Well, love you
This will
guys.
be me the rest of the afternoon, everybody. Reading blogs.
We love you guys. We will talk to you next
Oh,
week.
I didn't say who my mess was.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Jennifer. I think she's the disaster right now.
Oh, I
She's
guess, yeah,
spinning.
for sure.
She's
Jennifer is
spinning out of
mess.
control. She does, and she moved in with the guy he's been there for 10 years. He never used his dishwasher. Ooh, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, for sure. Well, at least he has money. Shaunae's money. Talk to you guys. Bye.